Thanks, Madam Chairman. Mr. Undersecretary, I was visiting with one of my rural electric co-ops not too long ago, and the comment was made by the manager of that co-op that they're in a fast-growing area of our state, and they are a participant with some other co-ops in the construction of a new coal-fired power generating plant that was having some problems getting off the ground because of environmental challenges and whatnot, but now, thank goodness, they're underway. But his comment that was important to me was that if we don't get this plant up and running, then we've got a problem, and we're going to be limited in the short term before the new nuclear facilities that are under construction that won't be coming online for several years. And if we don't get this coal-fired plant going, then we're not going to be able to serve our community. We're simply going to have to turn particularly commercial customers away. So that is beginning to be more and more of a concern, I think, around the country. The 2008 Farm Bill directed the Secretary to conduct a study on electric power generation needs in rural America, and that study explains that the demand for new generation capacity in rural areas is increasing just as it is in urban areas, and that rural cooperatives will need to double generation capacity by 2020 to meet the projected growth. How do you envision this demand being met to ensure that rural America continues to have a reliable source of electric power? And can you describe how you expect the RUS loan program to function in helping to meet this demand given the current limitations on that program?
We, of course, are anxious to make sure in our work that every time somebody throws a light switch on, the lights come on. And I think that's a measurement for all of us. We're also anxious in our work to make sure affordability continues to exist for everybody who uses rural electric power. We want to explore all areas. We do have limitations on the things we can do at this point. We have been working closely with the National Rural Electric System and appreciate very much their skill sets relative to this. I think the nearest term subject is efficiencies, and I know I've had several discussions on this subject, and there's opportunities within our programs regarding helping with the efficiencies, and the National Rural Electric System has done a fabulous job in the past working with their customers to make that happen. We want to use our resources, the authorities given to us by Congress to the fullest extent we possibly can to make sure there's adequate generation capacity. The targets regarding environmental and carbon discharge, of course, are part of the dialogue we have to have going forward. Renewable energies, which we are doing quite a little of, are proven technologies that are funded through the RAUS program. So we typically work with wind, solar, and some of the technologies that are clearly proven, and they're the only ones we can finance through the direct loan program, and we hope to build on those as part of the supply chain for rural America. So
I know you're working on next year's budget, and I certainly hope that we're going to see rural America given its due consideration from the standpoint of electric generation and distribution. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act provided over $7 billion to help bring broadband to parts of the country, rural and otherwise, that are still underserved. Once the Recovery Act money is obligated, how do you plan to ensure that RUS broadband loans are made through the Farm Bill are not overlapping with stimulus awards, and when do you intend to fulfill your obligation to implement the Farm Bill program?
We have a network of employees that directly go out and check out the applications provided to us on the broadband stimulus package. They are to test and look for the overlap potential in each geographic area where we have proposed projects. We believe that'll help minimize the overlap risk that we may have in those areas. We anticipate on the broadband Farm Bill program having rules out by this fall, and that's the goal we have on that area. We want to keep moving forward and provide the services that the broadband program has in the Farm Bill and continue to seek applicants that might find that program useful. During the course of the last 18 months, of course, people have focused their attention on the ARA package broadband program that's been, has lots of grant in it.
We have a constant problem of competition between those broadband companies that are funded by RUS and other private sector companies that are not, that don't have access. And what kind of focus are you giving to that particular issue as we move forward?
Well, again, we are seeking to verify the applicant's claims regarding the availability under the requirements of the Act to make sure that their overlap is minimalized. And since we do have a field operation of rural electric employees, particularly, and RD staff, we're trying to verify the claims before approving any particular grant that it does meet the requirements of the Broadband Act.
Well, as you go through that, you're going to have a lot of applicants that frankly meet the requirements, but you have a rural county, a metro county, a rural county, and in order to get from one rural county to the other, a provider goes through that more urbanized county, and that's where the conflict comes in. Okay. And you need to give real focus to that and direct some attention on how we're going to deal with that. We need to make sure that we get the broadband provided to truly rural areas, but when it has a negative impact on the private sector and their capital investment, then it becomes a major problem. So I urge you to take a close look at that as we move ahead.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Chambliss. Senator Thune.